Thank you so much, Frank. This has been awesome. Let's say that there's a TV meteorologist or a journalist who's interested in reporting on climate science who's watching this. Do you have any advice for how to have that conversation with a reluctant news director who is a little bit, uneasy about how this is going to go over with the audience?
Oh, I love that question. It's really important, right? Because we can talk in theory about the importance of this, but at the end of the day, both internally and in the community, you have deciders and voices that can either encourage or discourage this kind of report. 31% of Americans say they're alarmed by climate change. 26% say they're concerned. I mean, that's a big, robust majority that is
More than half.
well on the side of I'm worried and I want to know more.
Yeah.
And what's changed as much in the other direction over the last 5 years is that group of deniers and doubters are now down to 10% each. Those are very small. So the data is the first thing. And so that the Six Americas tells you where people stand broadly. The Yale Climate Opinion data is at the county level. So you can quite literally, if you're going in to talk to your news director, you can show your news director the data for how people in your community, in your DMA, actually stand both in knowledge and opinion on this issue.
Do you want to delve into that a little bit more as to how weathercasters can be effective as science journalists?
The chief meteorologist is the chief science officer. They are admired, looked up to, liked, and trusted. And that's actually a really critical set of currency. And so when you think about reporting on climate and the importance of being able to visualize the story, create explainers that have visual impact, the weather graphics system is a huge asset. So really, I think one of the opportunities is just to adopt a news person's mindset around kind of thinking of an editorial calendar and what are the opportunities over the course of the year. In many cases, they're recurring opportunities. I worked with the station in DC that did a whole month of climate focused coverage, and brilliantly, WRC zeroed in on fall foliage. So WRC in their coverage talked about the time of year that the leaf turning happens now, the colors that they're actually turning, why all that's happening. So, I mean, that is storytelling about climate that connects to your lived local experience.
So it's not just that the viewer demand is there, the advertising/business demand is also there.
Chartbeat shows that climate reporting is up over the last 3 years, and that consumption of climate reporting is up even more than the reporting. So in other words, audience demand outstrips our supply. Like there's an appetite for even more. These are huge business changes that create business, i.e. advertising opportunities. The written skills of investigative reporting for the typical print or even digital reporter and the visualization skills of meteorologists, there's a sweet spot in the middle, and it's actually an element, that we're going to try to optimize in our LMA Climate Collaborative. Is within the regions, we're intentionally going to pair newsrooms that have different platform strengths. Given the rapid series of announcements and shifts just at the beginning of 2021, a reasonable person would reasonably expect the momentum to build, and that this is just the beginning of those kinds of opportunities. In 2020, we saw a long overdue national conversation about race and social justice. Climate and social justice are not unrelated stories. They're crucially intertwined. And so, that is certainly a goal of our collaborative. And I put that out as a challenge really to local newsrooms. I think we need to move beyond the idea of climate as a niche or a vertical story. And the next level of climate reporting is when we begin to connect the dots and make those connections with social justice, with community health, and actually help our audiences see the climate component in so many of the important stories going on in their communities.